Hit the shower. Grab your coffee. And get ready to attack the weekend with Charlie Uczen and Jack Pembroke as they catch you up on everything Wisconsin sports you may have missed this past week. All before you even finish your breakfast. It's Wisconsin Sports Weekend, brought to you by the Apollo Cafe on Brady Street. 25 years of Greek tradition. Enjoy gyros, souvlaki, fresh salads, and the legendary Zeus burger. Dine in, take out, or get it delivered. Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar of flavor, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
How we doing, folks? How we doing? Like the big voice lady just said, you are tuning into Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am Charlie Uczen, that's Jack Pembroke, and we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. Jack, it has been a busy week for both of us, I feel like, so far. You've been working a little bit more than I was this week. I got to go to a Packers game. That was a lot of fun. That was a really cool experience. How's your week been going, my man?
I'm excited. I have that disc golf memorial coming up, disc dog on Sunday, starting at 8 a.m. sharp early. And I'm moving into a place in Shorewood.
Ooh,
so the parents are coming down on Monday morning. They're nice enough to... My dad's going to lend me some Irish immigrant hustle and move me in on Monday. So it's going to be a big weekend for the Pembrokes too. But let's get into some sports.
Oh, yeah. We got lots to talk about. Not as much as usual since we have a little bit of an abbreviated show today. As we are up against a great college football game coming up later. But we have 1 hour today here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network from 9 to 10. So we're going to make it great for you guys. We're going to start off talking about some of the Green Bay Packers struggles this past week or past couple weeks against the Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles and what they need to change moving forward here against the Giants and whether or not this is a game that should win for the Packers at this point, even though we've seen the last couple of weeks and a loss to the Browns early in the season that has said otherwise, especially since the landscape of the NFL is so much more wide open right now. At 9:20, we're going to hop into Warlocks Locks an hour earlier than we normally do it because we love to get that in. The Warlocks got some great predictions for you guys today. We're going to hop back over to the world of football for that bad boy.
We're 2-0 from last week.
There you go. There you go. And we're going to close the show off with our Wisconsin Sports Weekend pub crawl, as always. To start off, Jack, let's head back on over to the Packers, like I mentioned before. Last Monday, they lost a pretty uninspiring game on offense. They lost 10-7 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, I was in stadium for that game. It was a really cool experience. It was a game that I was really excited for. And the atmosphere was amazing. Everybody around us, Packers fans, Eagles fans, were all awesome. It was really cool to talk with people and just kind of experience that for the first time in my life. At the same time, the product on the field didn't end up being the best game overall. I was a little disappointed by that. A lot of people have been saying it was a defensive battle, but I would argue that it was more bad offense with some okay defense.
It was a lot of inept offenses out there. I was surprised to see for the first half, it looked like it was just the defenses were playing pretty decently, but neither quarterback could get it going. Neither run game was really consistent. When you think about it, I guess the silver lining for me is we held Saquon Barkley under 70 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but hasn't everybody this season?
Right.
I don't want to quote Colin Cowherd because he's the one who said that. But I mean, at this point, a game like that with this Packers offense that we've seen earlier in the season be able to do amazing things, be a team that can go out there and dominate whoever is on the defensive side of the field. And then the defense, like we know, is a top 5 defense. They went out there and were a top 5 defense on Monday night. It's the offense that really is frustrating. It's not about holding Saquon Barkley to under 70 yards. It's not about keeping A.J. Brown without a catch for a majority of this game. That's awesome and all, but that's happened. What we've also seen happen is this offense be awesome, and then the offense just crap the bed. What happened?
Fizzled. There were points where and Christian Watson has admitted that he probably should have made some better catches, but it just looked like we couldn't do anything right. And then when we're going for it on 4th down, you and I talked about this off air. You don't really think it's a great option to go to Bo Melton as your first option when there's like 6 other guys you could probably focus in on.
And I know Jaden Reed isn't playing this game.
Sure.
I know Matthew Golden isn't playing this game. I know Tucker Kraft isn't playing this game. So you need to get as many people on the field as possible to see what you have moving forward in the season, because you're not going to have Tucker Kraft. Jaden Reed still needs another week to come back at least. You have all these other players.
Injured Golden.
Well, Golden's going to be back this week, most likely, but he still hasn't really gotten going in general. He hasn't been that superstar first rounder that we expected, especially when you're looking at teams like Tampa Bay, who have Emeka Egbuka, who just came onto the scene right away as a guy that felt like the Packers may have been interested in.
Yep.
Just couldn't get to him. But in a situation like this, and you brought up Bo Melton coming in at wide receiver, and yes, you need everybody that can be on the field possible. At the same time, that man has not touched the offensive side of the field what feels like all season. Matt LaFleur said in his press conference on Wednesday, he brought up the fact that, yes, we don't work directly with Bo Melton, but they see him every day. He's on the defense. He's on that practice squad defense that helps them out on that side of the ball. He knows the offense. Yeah, that's awesome, except for he drops 2 critical passes late in that game.
He tried to make a chest catch, and that's inexcusable. A high school coach in Wisconsin would be mad at a player trying to make a chest
and
catch.
Then other people are talking about how it hit his mouth guard. So shut up.
No, it's dead center in his chest.
Like, I don't care if it hit his mouth guard. Stick your hands out in front
hit
of
his
your
mouth guard. Half these guys aren't wearing mouth guards.
That was their point. Is it was hanging out of his helmet. Like it hit his mouth
right
guard. Yes.
Dead center.
So there's stuff like that where it's just so frustrating to watch this Packers team again that has had the offensive just quality throughout the season, and now all of a sudden this ineptitude just coming through in critical moments is so frustrating. And in a game against a team like the Eagles, who are the best team in the NFC, a team that you want to dethrone as the reigning Super Bowl champions, and you're going out there and just letting them beat you. You're giving them opportunities to beat you. And again, I know you have so many players injured in games like this. I know Elgton Jenkins, again, is out for the season now after an injury. I think that this is a situation where you had so many opportunities to just jump past what people have thought of you after a loss to the Panthers, after a loss to the Browns, after tying with the Cowboys, and you just didn't take advantage of it.
To me, it starts to anger you as a fan, because you're looking at all these different opportunities where it's like, okay, well, this is where they take the league by the horns and, start to not have this excuse of, oh, they're one of the youngest teams or the youngest team. This is where you start to say, hey, we've had a quarterback around for 3 or 4 years, and we're gonna become the Eagles now. We're gonna dominate the league. And you had an opportunity Monday night to really stake your flag, right, in the NFC.
Yeah.
And a nice way to say it is they fizzled.
They fell right back into the crowd with that
exactly.
game. It's kind of what happened.
Yeah, we're the 7th seed right now, right?
Exactly. You fell right back in with everybody else. The Bears are a higher playoff seed, higher seed in the NFC North.
And the NFC North is crowded, man.
And I know the Bears have played games against teams that aren't the highest quality, but they're winning those games. They get messed up in those games, and they don't
find
fall.
ways to win. You can't fault an NFL team to do. You get it done.
They're resilient.
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't feel like sometimes that this Packers team is resilient. It feels like that they can get really hot, and if they get hot, they'll stay hot. But if they start out sputtering, the coach sputters, and the play calling sputters, and the players react to the coach and the play calling sputtering, and they sputter.
So to me, two things that I've noticed, or that can kind of change the trajectory of this season, is you've had a defense that's playing very, very much Super Bowl caliber, very deep playoff run caliber of defense.
Besides not getting turnovers, yeah, I would put it
there. And I take that as a positive, right? Going into December, going into January, when you're going to have to stop the run, you're going to have to hold teams under 20 points to make sure you win games.
You're doing the hard things right already. And again, you're not getting the turnovers, but I think the turnovers are the easy thing.
Those will come.
That's what makes some of these defenses that don't overall look as good on paper. That's what gives them that kind of quality in the history books, is that they force so many turnovers. I always go back to the 2018 Bears when they traded for Khalil Mack. And that team that just forced Eddie Jackson had so many turnovers. Kyle Fuller had so many turnovers that season. And then the next year they didn't get any turnovers, and they looked like, frankly, one of the bottom half defenses in the league just because they weren't turning over the ball. The Packers are doing the hard part good already.
They're holding very good offenses
they're doing
to no
everything
points.
defensively right besides getting the turnover. So you think that once those turnovers come, this could be not only a Super Bowl defense, but like a Hall of Fame level defense if they can get the turnovers.
The offense has to hold up their end of the bargain, which to me, I'd rather have the issue be, hey, we have to fine tune some things. We've had some injuries on the offense now. We need to get Jaden Reed back. We need to get a healthy Matthew Golden. Let's call a drive for Matthew Golden, and instead of, I'm going to force a long second down deep to Christian Watson and just throw it up there. I want to see us be more consistent. If you're able in this league, it's very simple with the rule that if your defense holds people under 21 points, I looked up the stat, the 3 losses we had, the rest of the NFL 61-5. We're 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I'm going to spin it. I went to high school right near DC. So this is the political spin for this is, oh, well, it's the middle half of the season. Our defense is really good right now. We're going to go into these games on paper like we should take the belt out on the Giants in this game and show them, okay, this is what a real offense looks like. This is what a real defense looks like. And then you get the Vikings up next week after that, and you should get that W. And it pains me to say it because on paper, those should be W's, but they're very uncertain games and they really could change our season. The offense has to just show up and give us more than 20 points a game. The defense is playing lights out right now.
Exactly. And you want to look at the quarterbacks that lost those other games. So the 1-5. So Jordan Love is 3 of those losses, as we know so far this season, but they're led by Justin Fields in 2 of those games. CJ Stroud, who is a better quarterback, but still hasn't really been able to
find banged up too.
His team is just not that great around him. Kyler Murray, Geno Smith. Those are the names on that list that you're talking about. These are quarterbacks that are known for blowing games, frankly. Justin Fields and Kyler Murray and Geno Smith make really critical mistakes late in games in situations like this. That's not what Jordan Love is doing. Like, Jordan Love didn't make a critical mistake at the end of this game. They just lost. They just couldn't score. They just couldn't get the ball. Once they got to that 20-yard line on the opposite side, the red zone of the other team, they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. And that's what's so frustrating with this Packers team.
That's what I've felt hasn't changed for me and my issues with this team in the past 2 to 3 years is we'll look like, okay, we're driving. Sometimes we look like a team that no one in the league can touch that fluidity of an offense to get down to the red zone. But once we get in the red zone, those windows crunch up a lot tighter. And I don't know, my question, you're a lineman, and so you might be able to resolve this issue. To me, I'm uncertain now whether is it stuff moving too fast for Jordan? Is he focusing on one read, or is it the quality of play calling where you're beating up an opponent with the run, and then all of a sudden you're throwing a cute little screen pass to Savion Williams that kills your drive and fumbles it? I think it's an amalgamation of those two things, but I want us to look like we are the aggressors in the red zone, and we haven't. We look scared. We look like we don't call stuff for Jordan.
Frankly, they haven't looked like the aggressors at all on offense lately.
Last 3 weeks.
It's been very just short distance. I mean, Kay Adams brought it up on her show Up in Adams earlier this week, but Jordan Love was throwing the ball behind the line. Frankly, half that game.
Okay, Charlie, I was getting text messages every time my dad goes, "Oh, that was a yard over the line of scrimmage," and it like he's right. I can't be mad at him.
When you look at the players that are on the field, Christian Watson, yes, can get open downfield, but he needs at least 2 seconds to get that separation.
Yeah.
Well, offensive line isn't giving them 2 seconds.
No.
You look at Romeo Doubs; he's really good on that little out route. But for Jordan Love to be able to turn his body and throw across,
got to have time to
he's
throw.
Got to have more time and not have his blind side be blocked off by defensive end, just pushing down the end. There's a lot of things here where it's just, yes, you wish Jordan Love would be more aggressive. You wish the head coaching and the play calling would be more aggressive. But when the personnel on the field cannot get the job done for the things that you want to do, and I think Matt LaFleur has a good game plan. I mean, you don't almost beat the Eagles. You don't almost beat some of these teams that you're losing to unless you are at least confident.
Yeah, you're not
offense.
bad. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So they have the talent there. It's just about utilizing it in the way that benefits everybody that's on the field, and then also allowing Jordan Love to just make plays sometimes. I think right now it feels like because they're so worried about the offensive line, because they're so worried about the wide receiver room staying healthy, that Matt LaFleur has these play calls that are so conservative to protect a Jordan Love, when in reality, you're not protecting him, you're babying.
They do feel soft, safe, and tentative. They
exactly.
do. Yeah.
And I know the Eagles are a good defense. I know the Eagles are a very good team just in general. But to beat teams like that, you need to out-aggress them. You need to go out there and be the main character on that field, it feels like. And that's how you knock them out of their mojo. Because right now you're letting other teams knock you out of your mojo.
You're hearing it, Wisconsin. We need main character energy from Charlie the Uczen.
What can I say? It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Jack, I wanted to ask you real quick last up here, and if you want to get in on the show, answer this question as well. You can call us on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Again, 414-677-1250-1250. We're also live streaming on YouTube, on Twitter. We have Instagram accounts. We have Facebook accounts, all at WI Sports Radio. So go on there if you want to see our beautiful faces on the screen. If you don't, that is okay. We're still on radio, so you can listen to us there too. But on Twitter and YouTube, we are live streaming. Jack, after the last couple of weeks and this team feeling a little bit lackluster on the offensive side of the ball, does it feel like there are any games left where the Packers have a no-doubt win in this season, including this upcoming one against the New York Giants?
So it looks, for a get healthy, get back to your mojo, get your Austin Powers mojo back. The Giants are probably the perfect recipe in November.
No Jackson Dart, no Darius Slayton. Let me go through the rest of the injury report for you guys here, because it is a long one for the New York Giants. No Kayvon Thibodeau, their outside linebacker. Big. No Chauncey Golston, one of their other outside linebackers. No Evan Neal, one of their starting offensive linemen. Doubtful, their defensive tackle, Rakeem Nunez-Roches. Their safety, Tyler Nubin, who's a big deal. Linebacker, Bobby Okereke is questionable, and cornerback Paulson Odebo is questionable.
So they're already not great against the run.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know about MLF? Matt LaFleur is going to ground and pound early and often with this team. And now you have no excuse. There's so many good starters out on this defense and on this offense. So their number one quarterback, who's a dual threat, who can kill you on the run and with the pass, he's gone. And then Darius Slayton, their number one wide receiver right now, is out. So you've got to, I hate to put a point marker on it, but you've got to come out here and win a sound game where there's no doubt that from start to finish, you dominated.
Exactly. I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. Sparky on Wisconsin Sports, the Mason Crosby show on Thursday, said to Andy Herman that he just wants this Packers team to win. And I think that's such loser mentality. If I'm being honest, this team is better than that.
That's
this
Kleenex
team has
soft.
Proved earlier in the season that they're better than this. Before the season started, we said they were Super Bowl caliber. This is not a game where you can just go out there and just win. You have to go out there and win by at least a couple of touchdowns. You have to have a few turnovers in this game on defense. You have to force Jameis Winston to throw an interception because it's Jameis Winston. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you're going to get a good pregame speech from Jameis Winston that might not make any sense.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to get at least, I tweeted on Bart Winkler, like, what are the over-under for 3 interceptions? I said, not 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions and a great pregame speech.
Exactly.
Like, that's what you're going to get from Jameis Winston.
Exactly. So this is a game where I think the New York Giants are going to go into this one with a new head coach, an interim head coach, because Brian Dable got fired this past week as well. An offense that is not at full strength, a defense that's not at full strength, and they're just going to try to survive. I know that they may be aggressive on that defensive front. You still have Brian Burns. You still have a lot of these young players that are coming out and can be a threat. And that may mean they're playing for nothing. I said this to Sparky. With an injured offensive line, I do get a little concerned that with a good pass rush on the other side, that it's going to put Jordan Love at risk at points.
Well, you saw it last Monday. You were there live in person.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to get hands on him every time they wanted with a 4-man rush. That's not good.
And it seemes like sometimes Jordan Love takes contact way too easily, way more than he maybe should at points.
And then sometimes he's not like he is. Don't get me wrong. He's athletic, but there's times where under duress, he looks like a JV high school quarterback who doesn't know what to do.
But also a good offensive line knows how to open up the hole in the middle so he can escape upwards.
He's worried about getting hit too.
There's times where he literally has nowhere to go. Yeah, you can ask him to not bounce around like a JV quarterback, but where the hell is he supposed to go then? Like, what? Yeah, get rid of the ball, but to who? If the wide receivers haven't gotten their routes off yet, like, there's a lot of problems here that we just can't blame on Jordan Love or Matt LaFleur at this point. They just have to learn how to work with it, which they haven't yet. So far, what we've seen through the past couple weeks is that they haven't taken the time to really learn with what they've got. They've just said, dang it, we lost Elgton Jenkins, we lost Tucker Kraft. Let's go to the most basic stuff that we know in order to kind of reset and saying, you know what, we've made it to this point this way. We know Luke Musgrave is a good receiving threat. Yes, he may not block as well as a Tucker Kraft, so that means that maybe changes the way we run the ball a little bit. But instead of resetting, you just need to build on what you've got.
I think we've touched on this last couple of weeks. This team hasn't been able to win ugly yet and finish games ugly. And that's what really good teams we're talking about. You're ascending. You want to be ascending to that NFC upper echelon of a Lions, of an Eagles, and be deep playoff runs. Well, guess what? Your defense has to look like our defense has looked, and your offense has to be aggressive and dominate people. And like you said, the mentality of just winning against a Giants team. No, you've got to go out here and prove that the Giants are in no way, shape, or form anywhere near us as a team, because we have better aspirations than just a 7th seed for the playoffs.
And then when things get tough against Detroit, you have to go out there and prove that you can be resilient and fight back late on in those games.
Yeah, we've got to grind out runs and we've got to beat them ugly.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it's like the first week of the season where you beat the crap out of the Lions.
It's not happening again.
Fine.
No.
That'd be awesome, but you can't expect that going into this game. You have to expect that they're going to come out and try to punch you in the mouth.
It's ugly. It's an away game and it's Thanksgiving.
If they do punch you in the mouth, it's not retreating to curling into the fetal position. It's about getting back up and trying to punch them right back.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. It is Wisconsin Sports Weekend here, though, and we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. When we come back, it'll be time for the Warlock to make some great predictions out of his magical cheese head. It is time for Warlock's Locks. We will be right back. How we doing, folks? How we doing? This is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sports Book over there. We are proud to announce the new affiliates as part of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. 99.7 FM WNFL in Green Bay, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and of course right here 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. Make sure to follow us on social media at WI Sports Radio. Now it is time for the Wisconsin Warlocks' favorite segment over here on Wisconsin Sports Weekend. It is Warlocks Locks. If you guys are brand new to Wisconsin Sports Weekend, do not worry. I will explain Warlocks Locks to you. Jack over there has a magic cheesehead filled with magic cards where he will pull a different player 4 times in order to tell you how they will do fantasy-wise this week. It could be good. It could be bad fortune. If he tells you to take him out of the lineup, you better take him out of the lineup. If he tells you to put him in the lineup, you better put him in the lineup. This is Warlocks Locks. Jack, you want to make your first pick there for the Warlocks Locks today.
We're going to lock it in. Our first start, sit, or stash is Jalen Hurts.
All right, Jalen Hurts. Let's head on over to the Philadelphia Eagles, who will be taking on the Detroit Lions tomorrow afternoon. Jalen Hurts in his last game against the Packers, as we were just talking about, was not all that impressive. He did have the one long touchdown to Devontae Smith that put the Eagles ahead of the Packers later on in the game. Jack, this week against the Lions, a defense that's not nearly as dominant as the Packers. How are you feeling Jalen Hurts will do?
Okay. Detroit, I'm feeling like we're looking at maybe 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
But those 2 touchdowns might be 1 rushing, 1 passing, because if you are an A.J. Brown owner, you have just felt no fantasy love this year. So I'm sorry for that. Jalen Hurts does not like your wide receiver. I'm thinking if you're in a PPR league, he's looking at around 20 or 21 fantasy points. So I think he can get a good bounce back this week for you. And, you don't have to feel like you have to panic anytime soon if you're trying to make that push to the playoffs. So I think he's a start this week for me.
All right. Mini side pick, that 1 rushing touchdown you said.
Mm-hmm.
Tush push or not tush push?
Oh, definitely tush push.
All right. Lock it in. Tush push on that 1 rushing touchdown. Jack, who's the second player in the locks this week?
You got to close your eyes because otherwise it doesn't count. Yeah. Ooh, that's a nice one.
We got there
Christian McCaffrey.
Ooh, Christian McCaffrey. Let's head on over to the San Francisco 49ers, where they will be taking on the Arizona Cardinals this week. Christian McCaffrey has had a pretty good season so far. He has 626 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns. The Arizona Cardinals are not exactly the toughest defense, but they're a young, energetic defense. Jack, what are your expectations for C-Mac this week?
Okay, we're probably looking somewhere for he's gonna have a big game. I know he wasn't electric last week, but I'm thinking you're probably looking around 80 to 85 rushing yards. He's gonna get a lot of little dumps out of the backfield, little catches.
8 catches last
yeah,
week.
so you're looking at least 9 targets out of the backfield. So he's giving you 6. Let's put him down for 6 catches.
Okay.
He's gonna probably give you as much as a decent top 5 quarterback's gonna give you in a PPR league. You're looking at 21 or over points.
All right. I like to hear that. Again, the Cardinals are not a very good defense. This is a team that I think the 49ers, even with Brock Purdy back in the lineup, or Mac Jones playing at some point in this game, will be okay and will be able to take control.
And kind of a side thing from our crystal, I call it our crystal cheese ball side bet. But we're 2-0 from last week. We said start Alec Pierce. He's going to give you over 15. He gave us 18. And then we went on the parlay touchdown. Got everyone on that. So I think side bet of a parlay touchdown, anytime touchdown this week is going to be Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, and then let's go with a Rico Dowdle touchdown.
All right. I like to hear it. I like to hear it. There's the little magic cheese ball side bet. Jack, third pick here for Warlocks Locks.
Okay. Oh, man, dear and near to our heart, Jordan Love.
Going up against the New York Giants, again, kind of like Jalen Hurts didn't have a very phenomenal week last week. It was kind of disappointing, but again, overall from the team. Jack, this week against a much more struggling defense in the New York Giants, what are your expectations for Jordan Love in this game? And then I just kind of want to go off of that. What are your expectations for whoever the number one wide receiver is going to be? Who is it going to be, and what do you expect?
Jordan Love does not care about your wide receivers in fantasy football. He's like Bill Belichick from the Patriots. He just wants to get it done. I think he spreads it around this week, but maybe if you're streaming like a Christian Watson as a flex or a Romeo Dobbs, maybe you get a nice 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns you're hoping for in the red zone for Christian Watson.
All right.
If you're hoping to get a little luck in there, but I think Jordan's going to give you somewhere around, let's say, over 240. So it will take 240, more than 240 passing yards, and let's say at least 2 touchdowns passing.
All right, and this is the first one where I guess Jalen Hurts is kind of a sit-start kind of guy each week, but Christian McCaffrey is for sure a start most weeks. Jordan Love, so far this season, has kind of been that off and on. Is he a start? Is he a sit? Are you saying he's a start this week?
I think with the matchup, he's a top 10 quarterback this week in fantasy. Now, if you have a better option like a Matt Stafford, a Caleb Williams, maybe you stick with those guys. But Jordan Love, if you have him on your team, you're probably liking and salivating at the fact that he gets to go up against a Giants team that's really banged up, and he's going to have a lot of opportunities. Let's hope he can cash in on those opportunities for us.
Sure. And last up here in Warlock Slots, Mr. Pembroke.
Ooh. Let's go deep into the cheesehead here. Okay, another quarterback, Justin Herbert.
Ooh, 3 QBs this week. Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers is going to be taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars tomorrow, a team, again, that has been up and down this season. A lot like the Arizona Cardinals, a very young and athletic defense, but again, has their moments where they fluster, or their offense flusters on the other side of the ball. Jack, what are your expectations for a Chargers team that's been much more confident, much more consistent this season than a Jacksonville Jaguars team?
You gotta think the Chargers, at least after their last performance, are at least consistent against the Jaguars team that's going to let you get some points on them. You always hear from Harbaugh that he had a dream. It's his goal to get Justin Herbert to be the greatest quarterback that ever touched a pigskin. So you got to think that, hey, Harbaugh, if they have the opportunity to put the foot to the pedal, they're gonna want to run it up against the Jaguars. So I think you like Justin Herbert's ability, kind of like Jordan Love this week, to give you some good numbers. I think he's been quietly a decent fantasy play for you if you drafted him. We're looking at maybe, you know what? I like the 240 plus. Let's go with another 240 plus passing. Let's go with at least, you got to think he gets at least 2 passing touchdowns against this Jags defense. So we're going to take 2 or more passing touchdowns from Justin Herbert. So we're looking right around that 21 point mark. So
I do want to look at one other stat here and ask you if you think this impacts what his play might be like this week. In the past 2 weeks, he has been sacked a total of 11 times, 6 times against the Tennessee Titans and 5 times against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both those teams don't have the best defenses right now. Neither does Jacksonville, but if their offensive line, Los Angeles is, who's been banged up this season, they're missing their 2 top offensive linemen, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alls, both of them hurt with season-ending injuries. This is a situation where I think if he gets hit 3 to 4 more times in the backfield, is there a chance that injuries could come into play when streaming at Justin Herbert later on in the season?
I was worried early on in that Steelers game because they show you the stat lines from that game, and he's one of the most overhit quarterbacks since he came into the league.
Right.
And it's kind of amazing he hasn't had more injuries, like a David Carr when he came into the league and had no offensive line.
He's been sacked 5 times, one other game this season, too, in week 3 against Denver.
And it's not like it's Joe Flacco with 2 sticks and cement back there.
Justin Herbert isn't exactly the greatest athlete.
No,
either,
but
though.
he can move. And
I think he's more moving though because he has to.
yeah,
late,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
He's been on the run.
If he didn't have to, that dude's in the pocket. He's a gunslinger.
So I think I was surprised he still put up good numbers last week because of how often he got touched. Anytime they wanted to rush, it seemed like both quarterbacks were under duress the whole game. Luckily, he was able to give you a good performance. I think, yeah, the Jags could get after him. I just think if you have Kamani Vidal and a Keenan Allen or a Gadsden or a Quinn Johnston, those are good starts because they're going to be airing the ball out against that Jaguars team.
All right, that will do it for Warlocks Locks. Your picks this week. Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles is a start. Christian McCaffrey of the San Francisco 49ers is a start. We're expecting a much better week for him this week than last week. Jordan Love, even though he's a little bit more iffy of a player, is a start. And Justin Herbert, 4 for 4 on the starts there, right, Jack?
Yep.
All right, it should be a good week for you there if you are following along with Warlocks Locks. A lot of great QB decisions there for your teams if you need the help with that. Next up, we're going to head into the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl, give you guys a few of the things you may have missed at points this week, and maybe even some other stuff like science, like history. You know, Jack sometimes likes to slip some other stuff in there.
I don't think I slipped any science.
Oh,
we
right.
call it sports science here.
Sports science.
Okay.
Oh,
It's sports science.
I didn't realize there was a technical term to it, Jack.
It's a sports show, so it's sports science. We always
Exactly.
try and relate it back to sports, but no sports science this week.
He is Jack Pembroke. I am Charlie Uczen. This is Wisconsin Sports Weekend live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. We will be right back. Good song. But I don't think it's the right one, Jack.
Nope, that's it.
Oh, there you go.
And my dad told me we were wrong.
I
I didn't know this as someone who's really Irish. Irish people don't play violins; they play fiddles.
Oh,
So it's a fiddle.
all right. Well, there
I got
you
it
go.
right. I
We're
got it right
fiddling.
now.
We're
We're
fiddling.
fiddlers.
We're fiddling over here on Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I'm Charlie Uczen. That's Jack Pembroke over there. And we are powered by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. It is now time, as the music indicates, for the Wisconsin Sports Weekend Pub Crawl. If you guys are brand new to Wisconsin Sports Weekend and you've never heard the pub crawl before, don't worry. It's super easy, super simple to follow along with. I'll start. I'm going to give something that we missed from the sports world this week. Share it with you guys. Share it with Jack. We'll discuss it a little bit. Then Jack will share his. And we go back and forth until we get kicked off air here in about 13 minutes or so. Jack, I'm going to get us started off first here. Let's discuss the Milwaukee Bucks' big win in overtime versus the Charlotte Hornets last night. It was the second game in the NBA Cup series for the Milwaukee Bucks, which means you know they're going to come out and ball. Yeah, so you come out and ball because the NBA Cup is awesome. And when they win their second NBA Cup, we're going to get a banner in here, even if Sparky tells me no.
I'm with it. I'm with the banner.
They won last night, 147-134 in overtime. Giannis Antetokounmpo at the end of the fourth quarter took a pretty questionable shot that a lot of people were giving him garbage for online. I personally felt like it was a set that was designed by Doc Rivers. It didn't look like any of the other players were ready to get that ball. If Ryan Rollins really wanted that ball, wanted to take that shot, he should have moved in front of Giannis where there was less defensive coverage because he did have a guy about 3 feet in front of him. I mean, there's situations like this where that should be Giannis's shot. It was Giannis's shot. Yes, he missed it. They won the game. That's the guy who you want taking those shots, and that's who Doc Rivers wants.
That's who's going to be taking the shots regardless.
It was a questionable shot, yes. It was a poor play decision, play design by Doc Rivers.
I think worse play design than bad shot.
Exactly. If you look at some of the other players in this game, Kyle Kuzma had 29 points, balled out for the Milwaukee Bucks, 10 rebounds. Also added 4 steals and a block in this game, and Ryan Rollins added his own 20 points and 8 assists. Jack, what do you got up first on the pub crawl?
So I know I mentioned it last week. We've got the Disc Dog Memorial. Gene Fury, his memorial. We're going to have a little bit of kind of like a all-around disc golf day. It starts off with 27 holes, one round at Dretzka Park, which is a really famous park in Milwaukee for disc golf. And we're going to have free catering for lunch. And then there's going to be a closest to the pin, and then a ring of fire putting competition, a driving competition for longest drive. So a lot of stuff out there. You get a memorial disc that's got Disc Dog on there. And it's just a great day to celebrate a guy who meant a lot to people in the disc golf world here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, I hope his family's doing all right. I hope you guys have a great time out there today. It seems like a really awesome event to honor really an amazing.
Yeah, we're excited. It's going to be a good Sunday.
Awesome. All right. If we head back on over to the NFL has made a push, according to multiple sources, in order to get certain prop bets out of the way of the NFL kind of landscape, fans, players, kind of limit the types of bets that people are making in order to limit the opportunity for players to get in trouble with illegal gambling rings like we're seeing in the NBA. The NCAA just got a bunch of players in trouble. The MLB recently, Emmanuel Clase, a great closer in the MLB, went out there and said that he was sports betting, and it was just kind of a really bad situation across sports over the past couple of months. In terms of that, this is a good step by the NFL in order to kind of mitigate any possible issues that their leagues are having at this point. Hopefully you see other leagues kind of take that approach to this as well. Jack, what do you got up next on the purple program, man?
So we are going to be looking at Carlos Boozer has 2 twins, and man, it is not LeBron's type kids playing basketball. These guys are real hoopers. Cameron Boozer dropped 35 points as a Duke freshman, and his brother is a rebound and defensive Goliath. So this Duke team seems to always get better. They just reload. It's like a young USC 2000s football program. They don't recruit, they just reload. So I'm thinking big things out of the ACC for those guys down the line. I know it's very early, but the Boozer twins are setting records as freshmen. And if you're as old as I am. You remember how good those ACC games were with the Carlos Boozers of the world at Duke. And Duke just gets even luckier. They get 2 of his progeny. So
it helps that he went there, and it helps that it's Duke. I mean,
yeah, right.
I can't say it's luck when they consistently get these guys when they just had Cooper Flag, the number 1
And
overall pick,
I might tick off a lot of our listeners. I was always a UNC Chapel Hill guy when growing up. I got recruited by them for sport. So it's hard for me to admit when Duke is playing well. I never liked Duke. They were always the pretty boys and soft to me. But hey, Duke looks really good.
There you go. There you go. All right, we're going to stick with the NFL on my side of things. The NFL files grievances against the NFLPA in defense of the organization grades that the NFLPA releases each year, where they give the ownership a rating, the locker room a rating, the staff, the training staff, different ratings and grades. And each team has their own grades. It's led to a lot of really great changes in the NFL. Some organizations have gone out there and updated their locker rooms because the players weren't happy with it, redid their training staff because the players weren't happy with it, maybe went about their practice facilities a little bit different because players weren't happy with it. Some NFL owners, led mostly by Woody Johnson of the Jets, aren't happy with this grading system. Feels like it kind of puts the owners on blast in a situation where they are a private company and they shouldn't have to put themselves out on blast. At the same time, I think it's good for the fan bases to know if their ownerships are treating their teams correctly and in a fair manner. If I found out that the Bears were Fs in all of those things and the players hated playing for the team, I don't think I'd want to be a Bears fan anymore.
You can't retain any really good players.
And it says you're run by really people that don't care about their players, care about their team. Like, why would you want to be a fan of that?
If a D3 college has better facilities than a pro facility, that's your first issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's kind of funny that the New York Jets and Woody Johnson are the team that's leading this kind of push here, because pretty sure he's been graded as one of the worst owners in the league for a few years.
He's not liked.
No.
So on my end of things, I know a lot of people out there have been lamenting about this, but don't worry. The TV and cable gods have come together and made a new blood pact.
Woohoo,
Disney reaches new deal with YouTube TV ending blackouts, so you don't have to worry. I keep seeing the memes of Red Foreman where it's like Red Foreman, if you had to tell him he had to sign into 8 different apps so he could watch Packer games or Brewers games.
Go to every Packers game.
Yeah, I know, right? So I guess no matter how you look at it, the rich get richer, but hey, at least we don't have any more blackouts on Disney and the ESPN and YouTube deal.
Definitely. That's a really awesome transition. I'm glad they got it figured out as quickly as possible. It seemed like a lot of people were saying it was going to take a lot longer for that whole situation to get figured out than it did. So that's awesome that it did. This has been Wisconsin Sports Weekend, live from the 1250 or the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and presented by Apollo Cafe, Milwaukee's Greek superstar flavor, right there on historic Brady Street. Stay tuned tomorrow afternoon after the Packers take on New York and try to avoid losing 3 straight. At noon, right after that game, Sparky Pfeiffer and Tommy Wirtz will be live on air with the Green Bay football postgame show presented by Lakeland University. So you will want to be here for that. This has been an abbreviated version of Wisconsin Sports Weekend. I'm Charlie Uczen, and that's Jack Pembroke. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your weekend, folks.